The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Good morning and welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker owner with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Terrific. We have with us for the third week in a row, Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. Hello.
You getting tired of me yet?
Not at all. You have a wonderful wealth of information that you've been imparting to us and our listeners. We are very thankful for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. on the Real Estate Roundtable. We talk about all things real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors who've been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and see what's going on at
and
the
be entertained.
And be entertained. We had people dancing in front of the camera. They came in from New Mexico, said, "This is on our bucket list, is to get in front of the camera." I was like, that's nice.
You're not going to find me dancing.
No, dancing in the bank parking lot. It was funny.
Yes, we've seen some other interesting things.
Oh, yeah,
well.
lots of interesting things.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com, where we also have all the podcast apps that we feature this radio show on. And remember to find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. Okay, Bob Burns. Before I start with you and go back into our discussion, Pat, you want to take, I have a little fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
What do you got?
This is from the National Association of Realtors. How many homes, on average, sell each day in this country? Try to take a guess.
10,000?
I'm going to say 15,000.
DC, what do you say?
I already saw it. I was looking over your shoulder at your phone.
Oh,
so I
you
saw
know
it.
the answer.
I already
Okay,
know.
well,
He
thank
cheated.
you for being honest, DC.
You could have come
Yeah, imagine honesty in this day and age.
Wow.
11,000.
Wow. Good for you.
The price is right. I got
You got it. I went over.
Without going over.
Can you imagine on average, 11,000 homes sell each day in this country? Yeah. Interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, now back to ticks and fences. Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. Give me a little background on you, who you are, where you're based, where you go, what you do every day.
So we're based out of Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania, and we travel for the fencing. We'll do about an hour and 15 outside of Lake Ariel. For the tick spraying, we'll go a little bit further than that, just because we can get into developments and I don't have to haul equipment and stuff like I'm just hauling a spray trailer is all I'm doing. So yeah, that's the distance we'll go. And
you've been doing it for some time,
the
fencing.
The fencing we've been doing for some time.
Okay, good. Yeah. And fencing and tick control go hand in hand.
They do. You're gonna, we went back over this in the previous segments, but the fence will usually keep out things like deer. And if you get fence that has a small enough hole, it can keep out the rabbits, it can keep out the skunks, it can keep out the smaller critters, that will carry ticks into your yard. A lot of us like to have our bird feeders and that, so that will bring in the bigger animals. But
you did mention bird feeders on a previous show. We do not have bird feeders because my husband is not a fan of having food outside of the house because of rodents and
yeah, it attracts chipmunks and squirrels and rats,
and they all have ticks.
Yep.
Now, so the height of the bird feeder doesn't matter?
No, because it falls. As the birds go on it and start pecking, the food falls to the ground.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. Then it just brings them in and there you have it. You know, you're now infested.
And the feral cats that are overrunning the neighborhood that all the crazy cat ladies are feeding, and because I don't feed them, I'm mean.
Yep.
Oh, look at the little kitty cats. They
we
kill
have
the
a
birds. They kill the birds. They spread disease. They kill the cute little bunnies. They go after everything.
Yeah, and they sit on our porch cushions.
Yeah, and they make it smell like
so
a litter
I'm
box.
getting rid of all of them.
Yeah,
and it
a
can
litter
get
box.
stinky. Yeah.
So I'm getting rid of all of those. I'm giving you fair warning before we start to pull out that furniture for the springtime.
That's fine.
So.
Yep. So a little bit more about the fence aspect of things. We were talking about breeding areas, you know, for ticks and mosquitoes, wet, that kind of thing. So coming from the fence aspect of things, you know, this winter we had really cold temperatures, and I spoke to an excavator. He had an emergency dig, and he dug in a spot where the frost went down 40 inches, which is ridiculously deep.
It's below usually where you dig a fence post hole, right?
And even if you bury a fence post at 36 inches, that frost gets underneath it.
It's going to lift
it can heave it and lift it. So what that can do, the heaving, lifting, and dropping, is that can create an indent, or even if the dirt settles around your posts, it can create a swale around your post, almost like a moat, if you will. Mm-hmm. That can collect water. That can hold water. A key tip for fencing, if you're going to put your own fence in, I'm putting myself out of work here, but don't concrete up to the ground level. Don't do it. You only concrete halfway up the hole. And the reason being is when that frost travels down, it's going to put down pressure on that concrete and then go around it. Whereas if you concrete all the way up, that frost line's going to ride down the side of it, go under it, and then pop it out. So you have a better chance of it not shifting if you only concrete the bottom half of the post.
Where were you 15 years ago when I did my fence?
Because all of ours popped out.
Yep, and that's exactly, if you went to the
pop out.
Yeah, it did.
That the plastic came out of the posts a little bit because it was just, it was a crappy.
Yep.
I'm not going to get it. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. But the other thing is when you concrete to the top level, oftentimes we don't level that off. It's going to have little indents and stuff. That'll collect water right there. And then you have spots for the mosquitoes to breed. So fence installation is also important for this as well. Again, if you have your fence, please keep it clear of, you know, the vines, the weeds, the brush. When we're doing farms, horse farms, cow farms, and they want a whole field fenced in, we always suggest going 10 to 15 feet off of the tree line with a fence. And the reason for that is, one, you can get a tractor around it, but two, you can clean the outside with a brush hog, and you can cut the trees back away from that fence. The other thing, when you let the vines climb and all that kind of stuff, it destroys your fence. Traps moisture. If it's wood, it rots it. If it's a chain link, it just bends it all down and makes it look terrible. You may like the vines, but you're not doing yourself a favor in the long run.
But you know, how many houses do we see the vines on?
Absolutely.
It makes me crazy.
Well, and the other thing with the vines is if it gets into the mortar, it'll split that and crack and actually do damage to your home. So I understand the look. I get it. We like the looks of it, but practicality wise, you're doing yourself harm physically and your home harm.
It's a highway for the bugs to get into the home.
Yep, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. I know. And not to mention in the moisture behind it.
Now, let me ask you something. You're talking about doing a fence to keep in the horses and everything.
Yeah.
Do you have to electrify those fences?
You don't have to, but you should. If you're doing a high tensile wire, that should be electrified. And it's even more important to keep the weeds clear of that, because if weeds and branches touch that, it'll ground it out and you'll lose your pulsating through that fence. You know, a lot of people, though, are going more towards like a woven wire fence, and we stretch that out 4 foot or 5 foot high, and you just put a hot wire on top of it. And that's been a common
Effective way to-
Yes, very effective. But vines will climb up that. They will absolutely, you have to maintain that. So weed whacking, again, I don't like sprays. I don't like the weed killers, you know what I mean? The Roundups and stuff like that. They'll use that along the fence line to kill the weeds. But again, you're putting chemicals into your ground. I'm not a fan of it. Not saying you can't do it, but I would prefer to go out there with a weed whacker.
I got tangled up in one of those electric fences one time riding a trike 100 years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It hurts.
Well, yeah. There's been people who've lost their heads for that.
Oh, I didn't lose my head. I kind of.
You sure?
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bob.
Thank you, Bob. It hurts like hell. Let me tell you something.
Okay, so.
So along the fence lines, we do offer any type of fence you can think of, privacy fence. We can even design our own fence for you as far as the look is concerned, or do you want a horizontal privacy? Do you want a vertical privacy, chain link, box wire? And a lot of people love a mixture. They want a dog fence, they want the wire, but they want the look of a 3-rail horse fence or a split rail. And we can absolutely make all of that work, and we can help design that. We can help go over the different cost options, and the installation prices. We give you a solid price, and I can even tell you, looking at your demographic, where are you at, what type of neighborhood you're in. Just driving by, I can tell these people have a ton of deer in this neighborhood, or not so much, and tell you what is the best fence to keep those animals out. Believe it or not, one of the best deterrents to keep deer out of your backyard is a dog. They smell the dog, they hear the dog, they know that the dog is in that backyard. They're
Stay
just
away.
They're just not going to want to go out there.
No.
Yeah. Especially if you have a doggy door where they could just come in and out. Now, you're not checking your dogs or bringing in and out ticks, but if you're spraying, you don't have to worry about that.
Right. Is there any way to eliminate ticks?
No.
None.
Nope. You scorched earth policy where we burn everything on the face of the earth, maybe.
Yeah.
But
no, on my property. I don't care about the rest of the earth.
I mean, what we're doing is about 90% effective. So you can get rid of 90% of the ticks that you...
And the whole trick behind that is to do it monthly. From March to November.
Yeah, if we do it in April and you're calling me in July saying I've got ticks and we didn't do a monthly service, I'm sorry, but that's...
it's a year-round effort. Don't stop after summer. Keep it going. And we learned last week that ticks still stay alive in the winter. They go dormant. They go underneath, right? And they stay there. And so, and each season requires a different strategy, or is it weather?
So
playing
rain really is the only one. You will see ticks go dormant if the temp drops below 35.
Okay.
They're going to stop moving. But you're going to see even hunters say, man, when I walk through the woods and I brush those leaves up, they still grab onto me, even if it's 28 degrees out, I've experienced that. I knew a hunter who was out there, he got bit twice. And for 3 years, he couldn't work. It affected his brain. And he was in a high-level corporate job. It affected his brain so bad. He had Lyme's disease. He couldn't do anything.
And he wouldn't have thought because of the temperature.
Nope, he wouldn't have thought anything. It was a warm winter that year. But when we were out, it was probably 30 degrees. I was hunting with him when he got bit by the ticks.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So weather plays a role in tick activity. So what if it's a dry winter?
Dry, they do like moisture areas, and they don't like heat. They don't like that sun beating down on them. That's why they seek, the bushes, they don't necessarily like that, but it's not going to stop them. The moisture will breed a lot more mosquitoes, and it will create more environments for the ticks, but the ticks and the mosquitoes they're just an unstoppable force. We can mitigate them. We can repel them. We can kill them on your property, but there's only so much you can do. But at the same time, you're lessening your availability and your risk when you're spraying, when you're taking the DIY initiatives of cleaning up your yard, not putting yourself in danger, trimming back those bushes and those branches, having us come and spray, put up a fence, those kinds of things. You're really cutting back on the opportunities for you to come in contact with them.
And mulch is a big
Mulch
problem
is a
too.
big thing.
Right.
Mulch, the cedar mulch can help. Regular mulch, if it's really thick and it's damp, they can go in there. But if it's mulch that's just sitting out in the sun baking, they won't like to be in that. They'll go under your deck. They'll run and hide under your deck.
Dark covered areas
Yep.
that have a lot of
Yep.
either vegetation or leaves.
And to be honest with you, at least for me, I don't like to sunbathe on my porch or anything. If I'm out in the yard, I want to be in the trees where the shade is in the summertime. If I'm going to set up a chair and have a glass of sun tea, I'm going under the tree. I'm not sitting in the middle of the yard.
And they
baking in
can
the sun.
fall from the tree.
The scientific community will tell you no. My experience says the exact opposite. Yes, they do. So, yeah.
Especially with squirrels. We got squirrels in the trees in our neighborhood. Yeah.
Yep. But they feel the vibrations when you're walking through the woods, and they sense the CO2, they sense the heat. You ever see that movie Predator?
Yeah.
They're like a tiny little predator. They could see your body heat. They could see, you are not hiding from them. They will find you. They will get you if you're not taking the initiative to stop them. Mm-hmm. So.
Right. All right. They're in a category with weeds. Because weeds are indestructible as far as I'm concerned. No matter what, I can't get rid of them. So ticks are classified in that.
Yeah, they're a nuisance. They're annoying, and the difference between them and weeds is the ticks can make you really sick or even kill you.
Right. Okay.
So
when I'm riding a tractor doing a brush hog, I do everything I can to avoid touching any of those low-hanging. You wouldn't think that an old guy like me could bend in so many different ways to get away from the low-hanging branches.
And you spray your clothes.
And I spray my clothes.
Yep.
I come home smelling like a can of insect repellent, but it's on the clothes. And I wear a jumpsuit, and I'll actually tape around the boots.
Yep. And that's all things you can. Now in the summertime when it's 90 degrees,
right?
And you're out working all day long.
No,
it's
I
hard
don't
to
do it in the summer.
Yeah.
I'll do it in the fall and in the spring.
But the nice thing is we have an enclosed cab skid steer. So when I'm brush hogging, I have it on the front, and I'm enclosed in that cab.
Yeah. That's my next part.
Yep.
That's what I got to get. I need
There
an
you go.
enclosed.
Yep.
Yeah, trade in my
There's
Kubota.
Sell a
always
property and buy a skid
Thank
steer.
you, Bob.
Trade in the Kubota, and I'm going to go for an upgrade.
Yep.
Oh God! Does it ever end?
Never. Never ends.
Okay, I'm finding.
Thanks for the
that out.
idea. All right, I'm
Bob,
going.
you're excused.
I'm going.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
What is it, an FNS or Marshall, whatever? It's called Marshall now. I got to go up there.
Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
You can call me at 570-352-8085. You can email us at burnsfencing@yahoo.com or tickedoffpa@yahoo.com. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Burns Fence LLC or Ticked Off LLC. We've got a lot of, especially on our Burns Fence page, we've got a lot of photos, a lot of reviews, a lot of everything on there. So
Great information, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Pat.
Yes. Are you looking for a summer or early fall getaway? And there's no hidden fees at the Concord Suites. That's the Concord Suites in Avalon, New Jersey. It's modern suites. They feature a kitchen, a living room with a queen sofa bed, a full bathroom, a private bedroom with 2 queen beds. It's the perfect place for family getaways. It's got 2 pools, a restaurant on site. It's near downtown Avalon and Stone Harbor, and it's only 1 block from the beach. This is a prime spot with access to shopping, boardwalks, the amusement parks in Wildwood and Ocean City. Avalon is exit 13 on the Garden State Parkway. They're just 10 miles from Cape May and 30 miles from Atlantic City. You can enjoy golf courses, casinos, wineries, breweries, and distilleries. The Concord Suites has just undergone a multi-million-dollar renovation. It has the comforts of a condominium with the amenities of a hotel. Book now. They look forward to seeing you soon. And beginning in September, from September 2nd through the 26th, check in any Sunday or Monday, stay 3 nights, and get the 4th night free. That does not include weekends. So give them a call at 609-368-7800. That's 609-368-7800, or visit ConcordSuites.com and check it out. We've stayed there in the past. It's a nice place.
Gloria and John Suma are now part of Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate. Gloria has over 3 decades of real estate experience. She brings an exceptional level of expertise and dedication to our office. She's been licensed since 1987, and she's built a career on delivering outstanding service and results for her clients, earning their trust through her professionalism and unwavering commitment. She has an extensive knowledge of the real estate market, combined with her ability to understand the unique needs of her clients. That makes for her to be a trusted guide for buyers, sellers, and investors alike. She excels at navigating the complexities of real estate transactions, and she is also a certified residential real estate appraiser. So if you're looking for a seasoned professional who will work tirelessly on your behalf, Gloria Suma is ready to help you turn your real estate dreams into reality. Reach out today to benefit from her decades of experience and commitment to success. She resides in Dunmore with her husband, John Suma. John is also a licensed realtor with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate. He's been licensed since 2022. He is also a wonderful addition to our group of professionals. Gloria Suma can be reached at 570-840-8201. John Suma can be reached at 570-840-3037. Pat, do you have a listing?
Yes, I do. We have a 1,750 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 214 Church Street in Dunmore for $239,000. This lovely home has hardwood floors and a modern kitchen. The home has a first-floor laundry and a large attached garage with plenty of off-street parking. It has a large fenced-in yard, and the home sits on a 50 by 150 lot, and it's within walking distance to the Dunmore schools. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 214 Church Street in Dunmore for $239,000, and that's listed by Dan Callahan of our office.
Stick around for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker. We'll be back after a very brief break. When considering to sell or buy a home, why choose Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate? Let me tell you why. 70% of home buyers settle for the first agent they meet, and many regret it. 90% of home sellers hire an agent, but was it the right choice? Don't have agent remorse. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and I've been in and around the real estate business for most of my life. And at Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, we've been selling real estate for half a century, but we do not do it halfway. You deserve better than average. Average doesn't help you. We know it's all about you and what you need. Century 21 is the #1 in brand awareness, is the most recognized name in real estate, and is the most respected in the industry. In this market, if you dream big, you need to move fast. So it makes perfect sense to contact Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, 570-344-6724, and visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. It's time to dive back into the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate and 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're jigging in. I get it now.
Yep.
And Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence, LLC. You spent a lot of time with us. We
Spent
really
a
got
lot
to
of
know
time.
each other.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
This is good. All right.
We built a honey-do list for your husband, and we've also spent your money, too.
Yes, I know. I like the list better, the honey-do list.
Yeah, he told me about the prices during the commercial. I think I'll stick with what I have for the next 20 years.
Good, good. That works for me, Pat.
Okay.
Yeah. So fence, the fence world.
Yeah.
As a fence installer, what is your favorite fence? What is the perfect fence?
Oh, there's no such thing as a perfect fence.
Okay.
It depends on the application. Obviously, you can get into different styles of agriculture, but most of our most of your listeners probably are more interested in the residential end of things.
Sure.
So you're looking at either some sort of box wired fence, like a chain link or something like that. I don't like chain link because of the look. Makes your yard look like a junkyard, But so the big argument is wood or vinyl. That's the big one. I am more prone towards wood than I am vinyl, and I'll explain why. Vinyl, we grow rocks in Northeast Pennsylvania. You're mowing, you hit a rock, boom, puts a hole right through it. A wood fence it bounces off of. The vinyl will last a little bit longer than the wood because they don't rot like the wood does. But the issue is when you call me out in 10 years to replace a panel, they may have changed the designs completely and it won't match up. Whereas with a wood fence, I could pretty much make anything match on a wood fence.
Even if it doesn't change, if the look doesn't change, you're talking about weather.
And it'll be a different color.
Right.
Weathered, if you're maintaining a stain on it, yes. Now, I will say this. I do have a pile in my back where I keep
vinyl
pickets for wood so they look faded. So if I ever have to replace I can match a faded one.
But even on the vinyl, I'm sure your whites discolor.
They do.
And so
they
you would have a pure white panel.
Almond or something, sun-baked.
Right,
yeah.
And they do they tend to shift because they'll condensate inside. You'll get water down. And so it depends on what you're looking for because you don't have to stain the vinyl. You do have to wash it every now and then, pressure wash it.
Well, that's what I don't like. It gets that algae or something.
Yep, but the wood fence, it will rot, but it'll also, you have to stain it, maintain it, that kind of thing. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Now, as far as the wood, an interesting fact about wood, as you're driving through Northeast Pennsylvania, you're going to look over and you're going to see barns that are 100, 150, 200 years old, and they're still standing.
Right.
They're not rotted. They're not. Why? They didn't have pressure treating back then. So why is that barn still standing? Why are those posts not rotted? Back when they built that, we call it old wood. Those grains are so tight, it doesn't allow water to penetrate. Whereas we've genetically modified trees to grow faster, which allows the growth rings to be wider, and that allows for water penetration. So even with our pressure treating, with the new wood, they still will rot faster than older wood that we had. That is just the nature of the beast. You're not going to get around that because that's just what our system offers. You're not. And a lot of people say, well, I'll put cedar in. No, they've genetically modified cedar too. I have seen cedar rot extremely fast. Really? I put fence in that was a little bit embarrassing with cedar because it just rotted so fast. So I'm a little bit hesitant to go the cedar route. Cedar planks are fine, but I would not put in cedar posts. I would still stick with the pressure treated. Even though I don't like chemicals so much, I would still stick with the pressure treated. They're now making wrapped posts where they have a vinyl wrap around them, and it looks like a Flex Seal almost, and that keeps from rotting as well.
There's nothing like a beautiful wood fence, like a picket fence.
I completely agree with you. And it's easy for me to fix that. And we can even change the whole design of the fence with, you just pull everything off, you still have the posts. I can do a completely different fence with that, as long as the posts are good.
I think you like wood.
I like wood.
Okay, there's no problem with that. Bob Burns, Ticked Off, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
They can call me at 570-352-8085. They can email us at burnsfencing@yahoo.com or tickedoffpa@yahoo.com, or check us out on Facebook, Ticked Off LLC, Burns Fence LLC. We have a lot of pictures, and we did a North Carolina relief effort last fall, and we're doing a new one. We're building a barn this spring, so you could check that out too. So
great stuff. Love it. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, no problem.
Best markets for first-time home buyers in 2025. Want to take a crack at number one?
With the location?
Yes, location.
In the country?
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Rochester, New York, with a median list price of $129,900. Second is Lansing, Michigan, median list price $135,000. Harrisburg, PA is number 3 with a median list price of $140,000. Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. North Little Rock, Baltimore, Maryland. Wilmington, Delaware. Altamonte Springs, Florida. Tonawanda, New York. Never heard of it. Their median list price is $229,900. And coming in last place is the Villas in Florida.
Oh, the Villas.
$236,950 is the median list price there. We're out of time. Thanks for joining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be back in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m.